So the topic of this video will be a continuation of the last video of my week 2 day 3 video, where I talked about sumo deadlifts and the almost requirement from a mobility standpoint in order to pull effectively and efficiently, at least from my experience. And like I said in the video, I've been pulling sumo for basically 3.5 years now, with mostly sumo as my main lift and with conventional as an alternate lift or my main lift for maybe a few weeks here and there. So I want to continue talking about why, again, pulling conventional for me is the better way to go for long term. And I have 2 reasons for that. But I think I'll briefly go over what I did today in my workout. As you can see, I am doing some pause deadlifts. It's 5 sets of 3, like yesterday's pause squats. So 5 sets of 3 of RP8 cap for the last set, and I picked 330. Last week I did 4 sets of 4 at 325 for the last 3 sets. For the first set I did 315, was a little too easy, but I think 325 was a little bit too hard for a 4-rep set. I think I want to keep the RP under 8 just because I want to focus on pausing the right amount of time and really working on my form without adding too much weight so my form breaks down. And after this, I did touch and go bench, which you will see in a bit. 3 sets of 12 at a goal of RP 10. I picked 200 pounds, and I think that was the perfect weight because the first set was honestly RP 6 or 7. But then the second set was RP 8.5, maybe 8, and then the last set was definitely RP 9.5. So if I went for 205, I would have maybe missed the last rep on my third set. And then after that, I did close grip incline for 160 pounds, I believe. Yeah, for 4 sets of 7. There's no prescribed RPE in the program, I think. But last week I did 165 for 4 sets of 8. And my last set, I didn't get 8, I got 6. All right, so I went down 5 pounds for 4 sets of 7. So 1 last rep per set. And I hit an RP 8 on that. And then in between those bench sets, I did the prescribed 1 arm dumbbell rows for 6 sets of 10. And keeping the weight at same weight at 93 pounds. So what I hate, I guess what annoys me the most about this program is the dumbbell rows. There's 6 sets, right? But I think Bryce, his goal is to keep the back rowing volume high, right? And I personally don't like rows, okay? But I think it's there for a reason, and that's in such high volume, right? But I just hate rowing. That's a side note, but and then with accessories, I usually don't mention this that much in my videos recently. But I did some pull-ups, as many as I can for the first set, maybe RP 9, and then I go down for like a total of like 4 to 6 sets, and then hip thrusts, and then some dumbbell curls. For days 2 and 4, I've been doing dumbbell 21 curls, but I might change to barbell curls. And I recently saw a video of this guy changing the form of the curls, where you lean forward a little bit and then you don't go all the way down when you curl with an easy bar. So I might try to curl with the barbell that way to get more out of it. I'll link that video in the description. Okay, now I think we should move on to the actual topic that I want to talk about, right? Even though we're kind of past deadlifts already, which is kind of funny. But basically, I want to talk about the 2 reasons why I want to pull conventional rather than sumo in more detail. So first main reason for me is that I seem to have more of a problem pulling sumo with consistent technique. First reason is I seem to be able to keep my form more consistent on conventional deadlifts over sumo deadlifts. I think that's because sumo deadlifts is more technical and it's more based on the mobility of the hips. So if my hips don't feel good, maybe from squatting too much or something, right? I have to keep my knees out, keep my hips close to the bar. That can put a lot of strain on the adductor, which I've injured a few months ago, I think, from doing Bulgarian split squats, but it was after sumo deadlifts. So I think there, and also discomfort in my left hip. So depending on the day and how I feel, sumo deadlifts can go in different ways. Sometimes good and sometimes bad. And to me, conventional deadlifts don't require that much mobility and usually works with me more often than not compared to sumo deadlifts. And because I can get the form down better in terms of bracing, pulling the slack, especially pulling the slack. Pulling the slack on sumo feels very awkward for me compared to the conventional. Doesn't feel the best on conventional either, but it feels a lot better from my experience. So because I am more comfortable doing conventional and I can get into my starting position for me, right? My personalized starting position and think about all my cues and being able to do that more consistently compared to sumo deadlifts, there's little to no reason for me to stick with sumo if I'm going to do it long term, right? If I can't keep it consistent over 3.5 years, but with conventional, I am able to keep it more consistent and I'm enjoying it more, right? This means conventional for me has more of a long-term investment compared to sumo. Not only from a strength athlete point of view, because doing conventional works more muscles, right, compared to sumo, and there's less range of motion. But even from a powerlifting point of view, right, if I can't comfortably do sumo on the day that I need to do sumo in a meet, it's not as reliable as conventional, even though I might be able to pull less on average, right? I think confidence is a big part of it, and if I know that my sumo might be shaky that day, or my hip might not work so well, sumo might be more of an issue at a meet, right? And not even just that, but thinking about, like, if from an injury point of view, right? I've never gotten injured pulling conventional. I've pulled conventional recently from the high 200s for my working sets all the way up to a 470 pull, right? And mind you that 470 was very rounded, okay? I haven't gotten injured from that, but I've gotten injured my adductor, my left adductor recently from pulling sumo, I think overworking them, and overall discomfort with my left knee and my left hip. None of that happens with the conventional. And I think this goes with my second point. I am a round back lifter on deadlifts, both conventional and sumo. And I am more comfortable pulling with the round back on conventional than sumo. And pulling with a round back, I still feel more comfortable pulling conventional. And even though it is a harder lift compared to sumo, because I am not just focused on powerlifting, I want to focus on the harder lift and become better with conventional, because I know conventional has more carryover to sumo than sumo does conventional. I've tried that. I've trained sumo all this time and my conventional hasn't gone up as much, but I know training conventional recently has brought up my sumo. And despite trying to fix my sumo form as much as I can, I pull sumo a lot like conventional anyway, without a back movement. So I might as well just pull conventional. It feels more comfortable. And if I eventually pull a 550 conventional, I'm pretty sure my sumo will be around that area too. But if I can pull 550 sumo, I'm not more likely going to pull 550 conventional, because I think squatting a lot will help my sumo. But I don't think any amount of back work, rows, pull-ups, would increase the conventional deadlift, like actually doing the lift. Maybe RDOs. So in the effort of saving myself all this back and forth from switching from conventional to sumo, I'm going to stick with conventional as my main lift from now on. And I might post sumo in the future as a secondary lift, just to see, how much I can pull in the future without training it. But what I realized is conventional is also easier to get into if you haven't pulled it in a while. Sumo is not the case. Sumo, you need to work into the the mobility requirement for it, I don't have the same issue with conventional. And I seem to be able to recover from conventional, from my squats, from the amount that I've trained both. And I think I actually have a third point, which is that I have been pulling sumo for more than half of my strength training career, and I've never really pulled conventional for more than 2 to 3 months over 300 pounds. I've always done that sumo, right? So I want to properly ingrain the hip hinge pattern correctly for conventional deadlifts and train what is more well known as the deadlift, right? A conventional stance with your legs close to you, right? I want to learn that properly and be able to pull a very respectable weight, like 500 or more, before I even think about maybe moving my sumo back into my main deadlift. So that is the topic for today. Here I'm finishing off with some, like I said, close grip incline. And overall, this day went well, except that I really don't like the dumbbell rows, like I said. But yeah, good workout today. So I hope y'all enjoyed this conversation that I'm having with y'all, and thank y'all for watching. I really appreciate whoever is watching this. I appreciate you 100%. Thank you so much, and peace out.